Baby, I'm hot just like an oven.
I just want to invite y'all into this little conversation that we were having. We were talking about something that I had saw on the internet. There was an interview that was done with Derek Jackson and Lateris. I forget his last name. But long story short, it's the Dear Future Wifey podcast. They recently did an interview and it really had my wheels turning. So I was sitting here and we were all talking as we normally do. And it just, I don't know. I just started thinking about, and if y'all hear the children's in the background, just know that we all have responsibilities outside of social media. Amen. So if they roll in here, you know what time it is. We got to tend to the children's. Tend to the children's. But I wanted to talk about something that I know is very important and it's very pressing. And these people who are my good friends, family, I mean, all of the above, they fit beyond the description that I can really give to them. These are the near and dearest to my heart. And we were talking about relationships. And one of the things that was mentioned on the podcast that I was just referencing a few minutes ago was the fact that there was this massive religious presence in the choosing of their relationship. And one thing that came to my mind when I was listening to it, I was like, man, wow. How crazy is it that we when we pick relationships or when we get into relationships, if you are a Christian, if you go to church or whatever, there is so much influence on who you date when it comes to the people that are around you. They really help you to decide who your mate is going to be. Yeah, let me tell you something. I am 100% in agreement with guidance. I'm 100% in agreement with people having positive influence and, you know, helping you to make life decisions. I'm with that 100%. But here's my little flip side, because somebody may agree with me, you may not. Some stuff is just out of place. It's completely out of pocket. And I think that the conversation needs to be had around religion and morals and choosing relationships and people prophesying when it comes to you choosing your mate. So let's just get into it right quick. I mean, I don't even need to introduce them. We just gonna have a conversation because that's all that we can do. And we are known for it and we just gonna have it. What y'all think?
Well, you gotta introduce me.
Oh. So to my left, I have Mr. Everett J. Martin.
Baby, I'm hot just like an oven.
I'm done.
And that's my man.
That's right.
And I'm going to stick beside him.
So if you haven't noticed, crew, yes, the Martins are married. They are husband and wife, hence me introducing them together. And then Kiana and her lovely spouse is here too, who is the master of all productions, the manager of all managers. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this guy over here.
Do you love me?
Yes, I do. Y'all better clap for my man.
I'm dead. I'm so done. But we got a full house and I want to dive into that. So first of all, let me just ask this question. Did y'all get an opportunity to watch the interview? That's the first thing.
I watched a little bit of it because I follow Derek Jackson on social media, and I was following him for a while before the whole scandal of him cheating on his wife popped up. I was definitely really into his advice and different things he was saying. I was like, oh, this guy is intelligent. He is putting us on game. Right. And then it's like, wait, but you're married and you're cheating on your significant other. Like, what? You're describing to us every guy that we should not like entertain or show interest in, and you are that guy.
Right.
How do you
Right.
do that?
Right.
And that's not to condemn him or anything, or, say that he's a terrible person, because I cannot judge that man. But based off what you presented, I was like shocked.
Right. So, I mean,
So
just
what
to
you're
put-
saying is that it was fake news.
Fake news.
So here's the thing, because I mean, yes, I know if you've heard of Derek Jackson, and this is not a bash Derek Jackson fest, because that's not even what we're going to talk about today. I mean, this is just to give a little insight. Yes, just like anybody else, everybody else, we all got struggles, right? We all are dealing with something. We're all trying to figure some things out. And in that, it just so happens that he's in the spotlight, and we were made aware of his infraction because he was doing everything behind closed doors, but he was giving us information up close and personal. Yes. So, I mean, let's not even be funny. I mean, it is funny because you giving information, you giving advice, and technically you haven't followed it. But, who are me to judge?
Right.
Who are any of us? I mean, how can any of us judge that man? But that's not even what I want to get into. But Keith, did you see the interview?
I didn't see it.
Okay, so this is gonna be hot off the press for you, and I
Yeah.
just can't wait to hear what
Yeah, I didn't see
what
it
you
neither.
what
You
you
didn't see
getting
it
ready to give us today. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Wait.
What?
Because you said you excited.
I
I
am.
was waiting for okay, go ahead.
Y'all about to be silly. I ain't messing with y'all tonight. But
ahead.
listen, look. So one of the key points from the interview was this, right? He said something to this effect, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, right? He goes, when him and his wife got together, there was a prophet that came, and this prophet, I don't know who the person is. I'm not even trying to figure it out. The prophet basically gave a prophetic word and said some pretty discouraging things, which he acknowledged were true. But it brought me to a place or a thought process where it's like, hold up. How many people have gotten prophetic words that have been prophesied out of emotion and knowledge that was, shared behind the scenes? And then we came out in the public sphere and was like, God told me to tell you that this is not your spouse. This is not your mate. Whoa, hold on. Because truthfully, when we're deciding who we're going to be with, there's a phase where you're getting to know that individual, right?
Yep.
And while you're getting to know that individual, you kind of get to weigh out whether you like what they're presenting or you don't.
Right.
But my problem or my hang up here is there is an oversaturation of outside influences when it comes to who we date and why we date them.
Right.
Do y'all agree with that?
I think
I
that's
agree.
really thick too.
What part about it is thick?
All of it is thick because first, why are we and maybe I could be wrong, but why would I address something that God gave me about your relationship to you publicly in front of a whole bunch of people? Why wouldn't I pull said couple to the side and say, hey guys, look, the Lord spoke to me and he said X, Y, and Z, and yo, man, you need to stop doing this. If you love this woman, then you need to be doing, and vice versa for the woman. If you love this man, then you probably should slow down. But I agree with you where people start to prophesy and they start speaking things over people out of emotion and they want to be seen. It becomes oh yeah, God spoke to me and he told me. No, that's not even what he said. He didn't even say all of that.
Right.
He
right.
probably told you to tell Jeremiah that he needs to stop going out at 12 o'clock midnight. But because you know Jeremiah and you know what he does at 12 o'clock midnight, you delve into it and you start adding what you know to what God is saying to you. And that's not what he told you to do.
I mean, ask a question, though. I mean, because I know we all believe in the Bible, right? But do you think that God gets involved with who we date and who we marry?
Yes.
I think that he does to a certain extent.
There you go.
I think so.
Yes, because I don't think and I'll go back to even what we were talking about as far as prophesying. I don't think he's humiliating anyone. I don't think that he's doing that because that breaks people down and that pulls people away from him. And I think that's what Derek Jackson said too, that was something that drove him away from God versus bringing him closer to him. And that's not the business that he's into.
Right.
So I think that people mix things up and it's misconstrued there. But I think he definitely has a foothold in it with certain things, because we could even, I don't know if we should go Bible, but when the people wanted a king, what did they do? They wanted to pick who they wanted. He had somebody for them. You know, this is for you. This is what I want you to have. And you're going to have all these great things because this is the king that I chose for you. But because I love you, even though you may not make the right decision, this is the person that you're choosing. I'm going to give you what you chose. Now you got to sit up under this, whether it's good.
So then, that's
bad.
that's a good point to kind of hone in on, because what it sounds like you're saying, and you correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you're saying that God potentially has someone designated for you, but he's so in love with you that he gives you the opportunity to make a choice, whether it's what he wants you to have or it's what you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
See, I don't know. And I'm gonna be honest with you, because like the thought process is like there's one person for every individual, but what if there isn't just one person? What if there is more than one person for you?
That's possible too.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Who said that? It's well, no, I won't say that because that's not Bible. But maybe God had more than one king. He just so picked and said, you know what? I like this one
Well,
the best.
I think in that particular reference, it wasn't even that he had a specific person for the children of Israel. I think it was more so he had designated himself as their king and lordship, but they didn't want, the supernatural or the spiritual thing. They wanted something tangible.
Yes.
And their desire to have something tangible kind of brought about, Saul. That's how we got Saul. But it's crazy to me, because if that's the case and you want something tangible in that regard, it's the same thing when you get ready to choose a mate.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? like, and I guess I got to backtrack. I didn't want to, but I guess I will, because I think y'all might have been right. But you know what? You're not about to do that, and you look like you said over here about to go to sleep on this here show. He is so relaxed, it's not even funny. But no, I mean, I guess I can say that I do believe that God has designations for us, and there is something special that he desires to have for each one of us. But then I got to go back to what I said. Now, let's deal with this, because if, let's say, peradventure, God does have someone that he has designated, that person comes to you and that person is a wreck. They are not put together. They are not 100% what you think they should be. They're not presenting well, and it's just a mess. And then you go to church, and I've seen this firsthand. I'm talking from experience, where, you and the person that you are dating is in the audience, and your friend who is the preacher gets up and he decides, she, I'm not going to say which one, they decide that they're going to give you a prophetic word that says, leave your partner, you better leave that person you messing with alone. Meanwhile, y'all was just out eating cookies and ice cream the day before. And the person that you're talking about now is conflicted, because now you're breaking up a relationship. You got the person who's in the relationship looking at the person that you're telling them to leave cross-eyed. And you've got this dilemma. What if that was the person that God intended for them to be with, and you just jacked it up because it's prophetic?
But in a relationship, it's supposed to be you, him or her, and God. That's it.
Right.
So if God wants to speak something over you guys, it should just, God will say it to you or to him.
First. Right.
It wouldn't come from anybody else.
Right. See, now that's a different story though, Kiana. And you want to know why? Because somebody might say or be of the persuasion that if God is speaking to me and he's revealing, I am the prophet of God. Mm-hmm. I am the mouthpiece of God. And then they come to you and their word has been tried. You know what I'm saying? You know them to be accurate. And then it's like, what do you do in that instance? God ain't revealed nothing to you.
So that ain't it.
I agree with you.
Because he gonna
I have
reveal
to
it to
agree
me.
with Kiana. I agree.
He's going to reveal it to me because that's why you have to have that relationship with God. So he could come directly to you. It don't have to be no middleman.
Got you.
So whatever God got to say to me, he going to say to me. Whatever God got to say to my partner, he going to say to my partner, and we going to come together.
Right.
The problem comes when you bring outsiders into your relationship, especially from the church.
I think that I agree with her to a
agree with
certain
that?
extent too, because I think that sometimes he definitely does speak to us, but sometimes he will bring third parties if you're not listening.
Understood.
So if you're not getting it, then he's gonna bring that in. Because I was in church with an ex, and the person who was speaking at the time said that me and him were supposed to be together. But God speaks to me. So in having dreams and going through transition and different things like that with him, God kept showing me this man's hands dirty. I kept seeing his hands dirty. I kept seeing and hearing like the Lord speaking to me, talking about a poison covering. And you know, your husband covers you.
Supposed to be
That's the
covering.
priest of your home.
Ooh, saying
And
you
I
might be a
always
little
got
prophetic.
like these eerie dreams, but God, he always spoke directly to me.
Right.
Hands were dirty. I saw him in an instance where he was dealing with a relative, someone who's close to me. It was like a relative or a friend. I can't remember exactly what the dream was, but I just kept having these dreams about this man, and I'm like, but you know, this person who is supposed to be a preacher told me that this is the person for me, so maybe I need to stick this thing out. Maybe I need to, you know, hold on to it, because this is an oracle that God is using, and he told me something. And, you know, I'm fresh in, you know, my walk with God. Not even fresh in my walk, but I'm taking my walk more seriously, because even though we were raised in church, I had to build my own relationship with God to know when, what, and how to do certain things. So in building my relationship, he's speaking to me,
Right.
and he's giving me things more frequently, but I have people who are supposed to be seasoned who are telling me something. So which direction do you go in with that?
But so then let's talk about that anguish, because that brings about a mental instability in the believer. Because I think that most times when we talk about, you know, prophetic words and, you know, people speaking over our lives, there is a massive level of trust that you have to have in God and the person who's coming with that word. You're trusting that God has given it to them, and you're trusting that they are going to, you know, give it to you the way that he said. But at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, you know, we have people who do prophesy, and I won't even say prophesy. There is prophecy, and then there's divination. Right? When you start talking about the difference between prophecy and divination, that's a whole nother conversation that I don't even have time to get into today. But it's scary to me, because instead of people learning to hear the voice of God, like what you're testifying to right now, we have people who are more susceptible to waiting for somebody else to tell them what to do. And you never really get a balance of what actually you should be doing, because nobody said it to me, you know, so I'm stuck, you know. And you have a lot of people who will tell you and testify, oh, I married this person because my pastor told me I had to. I married this person because this is who my family chose for me. But those are the same people, you know, when you look at it, that, you know, now they're not together anymore. You know, you don't see them, you know, rocking so steady, because again, somebody else chose, and it wasn't you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody else made that decision for you, and you really didn't have anything to do with it. You didn't know who you were, right? You waiting on somebody to tell you, yeah, this is the person for you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, what about you finding out what you like and what you don't like? If you can tolerate it or if you can't.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that is a common, when I heard the interview, and I kid you not, and I'm not making excuses for Derrick Jaxn. Absolutely not. I'm not saying what he did was right or wrong. I have no judgment for him whatsoever. Right. But it just seemed very, very funny to me that there are people who are testifying or speaking out about, you know, infractions that are coming for relationships from the house of God. We're supposed to get married.
Right.
we're supposed to date.
Right.
You're supposed to have courtships. You're supposed to have those things. And truthfully, it's not happening that way because now you got, oh, well, what? God will send me who he want me to have. Yeah, he is. But that don't mean you're going to sit in your house, every day and he going to come to your door and say, hey, here I am.
Nope.
Right.
Nope, it don't work that way.
That's not how that works. And we've labeled, dating, courtship, salvation, all of that stuff. We have to be in a bubble in order to successfully live it. And I don't think that's God's intention for our life.
It's not, but I think that a lot of us get caught in those crosshairs though. Definitely. Especially because a lot of people who, let's say, are new in Christ, and coming into, like you said, finding your own identity and things like that, we do look for, or I have been guilty of looking for somebody to tell me what is right to do.
Right.
Because I have been so gung-ho on doing it my way, and my way was not right. So now I'm looking to people who are supposed to be seasoned in Christianity or seasoned in the faith in their walk with God to tell me what is the right direction to go in.
Right.
What do you think about this one right here? What you think? Like, what are you getting?
Right.
And sometimes you're right. You might lead me wrong because I have not experienced this person to know what I like.
And then you also have to factor in that, we are human. And there is a human element to anything that we are going to do. Humanity, we're all touched by it. All of us. And when you think about it, people have a tendency to look at your situation and they reflect on their own. And they bring, their experience in conjunction with what they see with your experience, and they start combining them together. So
You can't do that.
yeah, because if it's happened to me, then I'm trying, and it's with good intention. I'm trying to save you from heartache. I'm trying to save you from, experiencing certain things. But at the end of the day, sometimes what you're trying to prevent, you're actually pushing me toward.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna use my term. It's like, for instance, right? Getting a pre-approval for a car.
Right.
You get a pre-approved for the funds, but you actually have to find the car that fits you.
Right.
You get a Porsche, might be high on maintenance.
Right.
You go to Toyota, it's good on gas.
Right.
But you have to figure out what's best to fit you.
Right.
So what you do is you go test drive, as in dating, right? Right? You go test drive, see, sit in the leather. Let me see how this feel.
I can't.
Right? A car could be too
Yo.
low, too high, but you have to figure out on your own.
Right.
Don't listen to nobody else. Look, 'cause I like Cadillacs, but guess what? It burns a lot of gas.
Right.
And you probably like, give me a Honda. I don't want that guy. But that's
Right.
my preference.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? My wife like BMWs, but somebody else be like, that's too much maintenance.
Right.
So I said, get out, test drive, date, and figure out on your own.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So when you say test drive,
Test drive.
what you mean by that?
Oh, date. Go out, do your homework on people.
Got you.
Yeah, you gotta test. You go to the car, you sit in it. First, you start the car up, right? You know what? I got take my license. Let me drive it. Then you drive it. Let me get the information. Then you check the car history. Do it have any damages, any accidents, reports? You know, you gotta do your homework before you buy that car, right? True. So I feel as though you go out and you do your homework before you purchase a vehicle or be with anybody. That's how I look at it.
I agree.
You agree with that, sister?
I do agree.
Yeah. Look at it as a car term. That's me. I'm a car guy.
No, I mean,
So
but
that's how I break things down.
it's true.
But think about it. Would you go out, right? Think about it. If you go out, you check a history of a car, right? If it have 5 owners, it's 2023. 5 owners, it's been in an accident. Would you buy that car?
No.
There it is.
I don't want no accident.
There you go. There you go. So check this out. So if you come in and it was certified pre-owned, got 1 owner, no accidents, no dents, no bruises, good on gas. You gonna want that car, right?
I gotta drive it first.
Well, after you
Yeah.
drive it, if you like it
Yeah, I
smooth,
want it.
right? But just off the history wise,
Yeah.
you right.
Cause that, so
You'll be
say
interested.
accident, that's it.
There it is.
That's it.
Tickle your answer.
I'm done with
So,
it.
Shout out to Kiana.
I gave you answer, world.
I don't like him. I don't like him at all. He is serious though, but the car analogy is like it's pretty dope
It's
though.
true.
It's true, and it's very like
You go to different
relatable.
dealerships. You try these cars out. Give me the facts, history. How much you want for? What is it worth? Yeah, you do your homework before you buy that car.
Dead serious.
They're like, do it have some value?
No. Wait, pause. Was it originally a white car? Or a blue car? Which one was it?
Smoker, nah,
Did you
smoker.
change the paint on the said vehicle? We need to know now.
Is this the original door? Is this the original door?
Right. We
You
need to
scan
know.
this door.
I'm not done. I'm not.
Were the guts removed?
There you go. So you gotta do your own homework. So if I come
Did
in
you put in new seats?
there you go. Somebody be like, nah, I ain't
on.
changed them. Those are originals.
Come on.
And then you checked, and it's not the original. But
We need
I'm
to
going off
know.
what you said instead
Right.
of my own homework.
Right.
We need to know now.
Right.
Cause it is.
Right.
Cause it is.
Right. She said cars it is. Cars. But this is coming from a ex-car salesman. So, I mean, I
That's how you gotta
totally,
look at it.
I totally
It's
get
an
it.
investment.
No, you're right. You're right. And just like with anything, when you make an investment, you have to be sure of the facts.
There
You
you
have
go.
to be sure of the facts. And the crazy part and the basis of this entire conversation is simply that sometimes, like Kiana said, like Cassandra said, you have to get that imagery or that message from God yourself first. And once you have tried that word, if somebody else comes and agrees and gives you like a second to that already internal motion, then you proceed with it. But if it's like an original and you have no facts on that, like there's no like nothing, then you need to reevaluate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need
The
to
problem
evaluate.
is too, like nowadays, it's a lot of what they say, false prophets. So it's like you
Right.
listening to false prophets, and that's why your relationships are not working.
Right. Right.
And you got to look at how their relationship is, how their life is. Because I like if I want to be married, I'm gonna listen to someone that has a successful, healthy marriage.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
looking at like. I don't care how you talk to me. Like I'm going by how you act, your actions.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me whatever, but I'm watching how you move and how you
Right.
operate.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so just know God for yourself.
There you go. Do your own homework. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
You gotta do your own
it.
homework. You can't listen to nobody else. You gotta do your own homework and figure things out on your own. Because people will take their garbage, throw it in your trash
Yeah.
can, and the next thing you know, boom.
Yeah, and then you got to take into account too when people get these prophetic words. Sometimes we can be overly pious, overly religious, and that tears up our relationship as well. So now that you got the information, somebody come prophesy and talking about don't do this, don't do that, and then you get this extra battery on your back and you going full throttle. You're not doing it this way. You're not acting this way. That things are not being presented in a palatable way. You start acting off and otherwise. So I mean, it's a lot to consider. It's a lot to undergird, and again, you got to be careful with what you receive, what you allow into your heart, into your mind, into your spirit, because whether you like it or not, it's going to be reflective. It's going to show up in how you deal with the person that you either choose to date or the person you walk away from.
Yes.
Period. And some of us have walked away from some good relationships based off of what other people have said.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. We've missed out on some good ventures based on what other people have said. And at the end of the day, as everyone is saying, you have to be conscious. You have to be conscious of what you're looking for, know what you want, and be 10 toes down on that. And if it don't work out, then you bear the weight of that. You bear the weight of that because just like I say all the time, God gives us space and opportunity. It's his will that we're seeking after. We're looking to do some things. We're looking to work some things out. But at the end of the day, he's not a force. He's not going to force me to do anything. He gives me options.
He
He gives me, he gives me the ability to say, all right, God, yep, I'm going to lean and depend on you. You lead me and guide me. And then you have to trust him in that leading and guiding.
Yes.
If you do not, then you have to deal with the consequences of your no.
Yeah.
Period.
True.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that I think, we bypass that. Because again, you go back to Derek Jackson, you go back to the interview, and it's like, yo, I had people telling me, this is what I should do, this is what I shouldn't do. And this is what I am, this is what I'm not. And that's not for anybody to decide.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not for anybody to do.
Right.
So, I mean, we was chopping it up. We was talking a little bit, and I'm glad that, we were able to kind of piece the conversation together, get a little bit more insight into something, that, I think is worth talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely a
it
conversation to continue to.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah,
one
for
to
sure.
Because you can delve into so many different areas with that. But that, yeah.
Yeah, because think about it, and I know we getting ready to go, but think about it. Even if seriously, with relationships and marriages, right? When you start now, don't get me wrong. I'm a Bible believer. I believe in Jesus. I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in the prophetic. I believe in healing, miraculous miracle. I believe in all of that. I believe in it 10 toes down. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. I know it's real. But I also know that there is a mix up with how we articulate those experiences and how we live those experiences out. Because sometimes, with each experience, you can actually, it's one thing to testify. It's one thing to share with someone and express, yes, this is something that I've witnessed, I've seen. Yeah, come try it out. And then be dogmatic and judgmental, like, oh, I experienced this. You didn't do it. You didn't make this choice. You just turned somebody away.
Right.
You turn somebody away. So there's a way to do everything. And whether we talk about relationships or just regular life experience, you have to let God lead you into sobriety so that you can be wise in how you witness
Kindness.
and kind.
Through love and kindness have I drawn thee.
Right.
We have to practice that. I feel like we have gone so far from that. People are, like you said, dogmatic. People are ruthless.
Right.
And it's people who profess in Jesus Christ.
Right.
And that's insane. That's insane to me. But then that goes back to people wanting that control. And then it's easy because tell me what to do. Now you're taking over that person's thought process, how they do things everywhere. Work, relationship, they control everything from there because I want to know what to do.
Right.
Plug the ears. Don't hear nothing. Lock
know
the
what?
door.
Real.
You can't say plug the ears,
Plug the
lock
ears,
the door.
lock
I mean,
the
there are
door.
some valid voices out here, Everett.
They're
But it's
hard to
hard because you don't know
find.
who's real, who's not.
Yeah.
Because there's so many fake out there, so it's like I'm not even gonna listen.
Kiki, a lot of fake. A
A
lot.
lot.
A lot of it.
Now he getting ready to stress the point. He getting ready to stress the infractions.
Real.
But
So
it's
real.
you're 100% right. But only thing that I would say with that is, just like I can pick up my Bible and read it, I would advise anybody to do the same thing. Because one thing that I'm learning is when it comes to conviction, when it comes to a change in life patterns or, change in direction, the only way to do that is to study and show yourself approved.
Yes.
That is the only way. I could tell you what the Bible says all day long, but until you have an experience, i.e. a trying time where you got to apply it for yourself, that's when it's going to become more real to you. Nobody can give you a real experience. You have to actually have one.
Yes.
I can't give you can live through my testimony. Yeah, you could absolutely, get something from what I've experienced. Yes. But at the end of the day, until you've actually had that encounter on your own, it's gonna look different.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna look different, and that's how you weed out whether somebody is for real, or if it's just you giving me a pipe dream, you blowing smoke right
So
now.
what you're saying is,
I'm
so
listening.
what you're saying is, because I want to make sure that everybody has the takeaway, and people who watch this have the takeaway, because you just said a lot. The takeaway is to build a relationship with God yourself.
Yeah.
Definitely to get in your word and read, even if you're reading a little bit, that little bit really does stick with you, because you're able to apply it when you get into those times that are trying, right? So that's our takeaway.
And not only that,
Yes.
but if you want to be truthful, if you want to try and see if you with the right person or not, you better find yourself back in the first 3 chapters of Genesis.
There you go.
Get back to the word. You got to get back to the basics. You got to get back to a place where you can actually see what God's intention was for relationships.
Yes.
The only way to get there is to go back to where he initiated the relationships.
Relationship.
You got to go back to the first one. You got to go back to the first one. And when you get there, ask God to show you, hey, what is this supposed to be? What is it supposed to be? Because just like we were talking earlier, when God, he's so wise. When he spoke in Genesis, he didn't speak and say, hey, son, rise every day, at 6 a.m. and set at 9 p.m. And I want to make sure that he didn't have to give instruction. He said, let there be, and there was, and he called it. The evening and the morning. This was this was the first day. You get what I'm saying? When you start looking at how he spoke things into existence, you get an idea of what you're supposed to have. And if it doesn't match what he already spoke, then walk away from it.
Yes, I agree.
Walk away from it. And then when the prophetic words come, oh, this person is going to be, problematic for you. Yeah, I'm problematic. Because if you catch me on the right day, I may not say the right thing. We are all, let's be real. Oh, you're going to have some turmoil. And the days of a saved person is full of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full of trouble. So that's not a prophetic word. That's a word of knowledge. Maybe a word of wisdom. Okay, yeah, thanks. But that does not mean that this person is or is not for me.
Right.
And the only way for me to really get down to the nitty gritty of it, and I don't need you to call his social security number. I don't need to know who God showed you he slept with before I got to the. I don't need all of that.
Right.
I don't need all of that, because what I'm finding is people walking around here with all of this information. I want you to have that same information for your own house.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about that? Because you can't give me something, and God forgive me if I'm wrong, and y'all out there in social media, if you feel like I'm saying something that you don't agree with, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll talk about it on the back end. All right, we could chat about it
Share.
and share. Yeah, but I just feel like we gotta be for real. All of this prophetic stuff with the relationships. Let's not do this. Let's not.
Yeah.
Let's give people a chance to make a decision, to see what's going on, and then track and adjust.
Right.
How about that? And if you agree or don't agree, it's up to you. It's your world. It really is. But at the end of the day, this conversation is for the person who's trying to figure it out, and maybe thinking the same way that I'm thinking, or maybe not. You may not, I don't know. But it's okay to have this kind of dialogue.
Right.
Period, point blank. So let me tell you this, Kiana. To the Martians / the Martins, we appreciate you coming on.
God did.
Amen.
God did.
Amen.
We appreciate y'all, just being with us and sharing a little bit. And of course, we're going to pick this back up. This is not the first conversation. This is the first conversation, but it won't be the last. It won't be the last one. And thank y'all so much. If you have anything to contribute to this, because trust me, we coming back with some more. I want y'all to just let us know in the comment section. Please don't hesitate to go on over there to YouTube and make sure you hit replay. Play this again, because again, I'm not perfect and nobody is, but we're gonna make it happen.
Sorry.
All right.
Sister, I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Baby. I'm hot just like you love me.
And on
taste,
that.
right? Just a little taste.
I'm done. The Martins are acting up on tonight. So with that being said, thank y'all again for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you the next go round. We are out of here.
Got it.